So Kumasi is the second largest city in Ghana. It is right in the middle of the country, and it has, as a city, it has about 3.5 million people. But the area covered by the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly has a population of about 800,000 people. And for the whole city, there's a daily influx of about 2 million people that pass through the city. It's a nodal town, so lots of people pass through here. It's a commercial and a traditional center, and the city boasts of having the largest open air market in West Africa within the city. For the project, the city chose to work on e-tax, that is digitized revenue mobilization, because we have a lot of revenue issues that needed to actually be taken care of. Our idea was for us to position ourselves in such a way that the city will be able to raise revenue so as to provide the needed development that the citizenry deserves, because it is part of the regulation that every city must provide for its citizens. And so we needed to take up the revenue mobilization. Over the years, there's been one or two challenges with our revenue mobilization efforts. It was paper-based, and then you used manual ways of collection. The tax-based assets, the database that is supposed to be the basis for preparing our budget and even doing the collection, was not digitized, and so rates could not properly be determined. Reporting could take a number of weeks before reports could be generated. And so if anybody wants to do anything contrary, the person has a couple of days to actually manipulate the system. And so on this basis, we decided to digitize the revenue collection that we have in the assembly. The city administration, the then mayor, took it upon himself to lead the process, and the current mayor is pushing it even harder to ensure that we are able to digitize our revenue collection systems in the city. What we have been able to do so far, we formed a core team of officers from the municipality, and we worked together as a team, being transparent, using our informal friendship relationship that we have to establish the process. And then we also had external partners who also came in from the universities, from revenue collection consultancy firms, and other places who came in and then gave us the needed support in the processes that we went through. We prepared our preliminary report that gave us a picture of our situation at the beginning of the project, and then we went ahead to prepare 3 action plans that saw to phase 1, phase 2, and then phase 3. One was even for the experiment that we did. And so out of the action plan, we picked an experiment, and we ran the experiment at Inshiayeso, which is one of the sub-metros that we have in the city. And within the sub-metro, we carried out the exercise, and at the end of the day, we were able to see 125% increase in the property valuation values that we had in the books, and then also about 67% on the businesses, that the register of businesses that we had in our system. So at the end of the day, just for Inshiayeso alone, these were the figures that came up. In going through the process, we employed a lot of stakeholder engagements. We met at the sub-metro level, we met the assembly members, we met the councillors, we met the zonal and area council executives, we met the traders association, the landlords, different groups of people within the Inshiayeso sub-metro, and then we all discussed the ideas. And seriously speaking, at some of these stakeholder engagements, it was the people that told us how we should even go ahead with them. And we divided the sub-metro into various zones, and we had our revenue collectors come in to support the data collection, the data collection officers, and then they were roaming within each of the zones that were created. And there were situations that we had some of the landlords and even business association executives follow our people to go around and pick the data that was done. We were able to achieve such successes because we were open in the whole process that we carried out. And then we also had the chief executives push ahead and then engage in a lot of meetings with the people, the presiding member, and then the other assembly members, the elected councillors, and the appointees were all involved in getting through the process. At the end of the day, we have been able to set up a data center, which is supposed to be a data center that encompasses every single data that is supposed to be collected on revenue mobilization. The assembly through the Aston project came out with the mantra that decision making within the assembly must be based on available data. And so decisions that were supposed to make on revenue mobilization were supposed to be based on data, and through that we built the data center and then resourced it. Now the data center is supposed to receive on time basis real information that is collected. So if there is a collector that goes to the field and picks a data, that data comes straight to the data center and it can be seen. If there is a revenue collector that goes in and someone makes payment, that payment goes with the use of the POS. That system data that is collected goes straight into the system, and then the amount of money that gets collected also hits our bank. So at the click of a button, you will be able to see whatever work that has been done in a day. And that is a success that we have been able to achieve with the Aston project when it comes to the experiment at Inshaeso, which led to the setting up of the data center. Now what is left for us to do is to replicate this in the other 4 sub-metros. Inshaeso is one, and there are 4 other sub-metros that are left. And the idea is for us to improve upon the lessons that we learned in carrying it out in Inshaeso, and then take them to the other 4 sub-metros. We have already started the process, and then I've started engaging the stakeholders, the assembly members, the revenue collectors, and even people within the communities. We've engaged a few of them. We are yet to go ahead and do a full-scale engagement with the people that are within the various sub-metros. The idea is for us to pick one sub-metro, finish with it, and then move on to the other. And then within the year, we are hoping that we'll be able to go through the process. In each of the sub-metros, we'll set up a mini data center where it will be easy for people to come in and then lodge their complaints, or if there is anything that anybody wants to talk about, you can go there. If your bills are generated and there are mistakes with them, we hope that you can go easily to the sub-metro that is closest to your area, and then you can report the issues. Now, I should have mentioned this earlier. As part of the Aston process, we have digitized our demand notices. Previously, we were writing them, but now it is digitized and it has people's phone numbers and email addresses attached to them. So when the demand notice is prepared, when the bill is prepared, it gets delivered electronically to the various property owners and businesses, especially for Inshaya, so that we have been able to digitize the whole process. We made use of the DLREV software. It's a software that the German government, GIZ, developed for the municipalities in Ghana to use. But interestingly, KMA, Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly, was used mainly by DLREV to pilot the whole process. And then when Aston came in, we decided to make use of it and then expand it and perfect it. And that has been perfected. And that is what we use in our budgeting, in our data collection, in the issuance of bills, and then even in the collection of the permits and tolls that are paid to us. We currently have access to about 70 POS devices, 20 of them bought through Aston and 50 from UNCDF. We are hoping that we will get other organizations to support us in purchasing more. We are also looking at when there is an increase in the revenue that is generated, we will be able to plow back some of the revenue that come in into procuring more equipment, and then we will be able to also build the data center and include every revenue item that we have in the assembly into the system. The idea is to ensure that proper and state-of-the-art systems are used in our revenue collection efforts, so as to ensure that the manual way of writing and collecting payments are all done within the Aston project and then within the life of KMA. The major challenges that we faced in actual sense were from the community level. At the initial stages, the community did not really understand what the whole process was about, and so there were a few feet dragging here and there. But then we changed our approaches, and with the help of the mayor and other people, we were able to gradually move into the communities and get them to buy into the ideas. And then it got to the point where they themselves even led a section of the whole process. Also, resources to actually engage in programs and projects. We do not have enough funds to enable us carry through the whole process, even when we finished with Inshaya. So it's been a little slow for us to move into the other sub-metros, because the idea was for us to have started with the whole thing throughout the city with the 4 other sub-metros all involved. And then the equipment aspects, we lack the equipment, and these, when they are provided, we hope that we'll be able to achieve greater results with them. Thank you.